own people, claiming the Africans are the one behind bad economy, claiming the people and the Africans are the one behind the issues happening in Africa. I mean, in terms of corruption, in terms of bad economy, in terms of unemployment. I believe you've seen this video.
I have.
You've seen a lot of
A number of them.
How did you feel?
Very bad, actually. I kept asking myself if they were truly Africans doing that to their fellow African brothers and sisters. And I just tried to find, in every conversation that transpired, in every video that came out depicting all that they were doing, there was literally no justification.
No.
And what I realized there, which would be very detrimental to us, is an existential impact that this would cause to the African continent. You know, especially when this has happened before and has resurfaced.
Yes.
It becomes a problem of, okay, what did the authorities do to curb the reoccurrence of something of this sort? Who is to be blamed in this particular situation? And why does it always have to be foreigners and not people within that nation that have caused these things in the long run? So I began to question stuff like the internal structures regarding the economy of South Africa. What have they done to ensure that this would be kept? Have they done well? Is it just the people who are being stubborn and all of that? And I realized something. This, first of all, is a fear, xenophobia. It's a fear of the fact that people are more capable than yourself. And in essence, your response or retaliation should be hatred. And that's a problem for me. The question then is, what do you have that they do not have?
Exactly.
First off, you have all the access you need as a native. They, first of all, should be disadvantaged because coming to a different state in the first place. So then the problem there has to do with capacity. Are they well capacitated enough or not? So if they are not receiving enough capacity building programs and the like, what is the state doing to counter such a problem? And if these things are not carefully addressed in the long run, I think they'll believe this is a way out to solve the economic crisis. But in the long run, this in itself is a lazy way out of economic problems.
It is a lazy way out.
It's a blame game here.
Yeah, because I don't know how come someone being in your country trying to work and money be an effect to you as a citizen of that country. How is that affecting you? Because we are all working, we are all capable. If you have the capacity, like you made mention, of course you'll be able to also work for yourself, to earn money for yourself. But how does your fellow brother working? I don't know if because they see us as foreigners, and I don't know if they want to, you know, depict what Donald Trump is doing in US. But here lies the case: he is looking at illegal migrants, right? Illegal people in the country. But here, these are people who went through the legal process to be in your country. I mean, it's a different story if they are going for illegal minors, and if they have the story to say that maybe these people are the one contributing to the high level of robbery, high level of trafficking, high level of this bad behaviors in there. But there's nothing like that. These people you are going after are living peacefully. They are trying to do their best. In fact, they are also contributing to your economy.
Actually.
I don't know if they've forgotten about that. And aside the current, when we go back to history, I mean, when this thing resurfaced, we saw a lot of people trying to remind them who they really are. I think maybe they had forgotten. During the apartheid era, it was not South Africa fighting the apartheid. No, it was Africa fighting the apartheid. A lot of people contributed to it. Ghana did a lot. Nigeria did a lot. Tanzania did a lot. In fact, I went to research on what individual country did, and it was massive. So I don't know why now they want to stand alone and then go after the same people who their great-great-grandfathers, their grandfathers stood for you to fight for your freedom. I learned Doc is in, so we will pause on this and then go and engage Dr. Cecilia Chance. Hello, Doc. You're welcome to Hello Africa Morning Show. Doc, can you hear me? Hello, Doc.
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Hello, everyone.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Okay, I think this is internet issue. I can hear you, but it's breaking a lot, and it looks like it takes a while before you respond. But then we wanted to engage you on the research that you presented during the researchers forum, and this being your first time. First of all, maybe you can share with us how the experience was, engaging with experts like yourself, engaging with researchers like yourself, the public, the policymakers. How was the experience to you for the first time?
Okay. First, I thank you, all of you, for giving us the opportunity first to share our findings as the early researchers to the forum, like the researchers forum that you had prepared before. And to me, that was my first experience actually, where my research presentation was programmed area, and during presentation I shared my finding on the actually the burden across the different facilities in Africa. That's infection, so it was very nice forum to
Right.
share the experience. Thank you.
Right. It was quite difficult hearing you, but from your last statement, I think it was a very insightful initiatives to you. Now, there are a lot of intervention in terms of trying to let people see what our African researchers are doing. There are a lot of platform for you to publish your research for people to see. But sometimes it's quite difficult for others to get to know what our researchers are doing. Hence, this platform gave you the opportunity to one-on-one engage with the public. Now, what really stood out in terms of this initiative? What stood out for you?
To me, first was the it was the thing that I could appreciate, that it connects the what you produce. I mean, pro, uh, what has to be published to a real world experiences. So with that, I see that there is a connection. Now people
Hear you. We can hear you. We can hear sound, but it is breaking. So maybe we will pause on this. Maybe you log off and then log in again. And when it's better, we will
is
engage you.
very
Continue with our
interesting.
engagement with
We
you.
now need to move from the translating the result to real world experience.
Yes.
You
So, Nkunim, so let's continue with our second story. That is the xenophobia happening in South Africa. Where was I? Yeah. So, like I was saying, I think it is not about having Africans there trying to do their best, trying to work and earn some livings, earn some money for themselves and their family back at home, being the problem. Like you made mention, the system is not working, and you as an individual, a citizen of South Africa, you need to set up, you need to look at yourself, you need to build your capacity. I'm sure if you are able and you have the capacity to work for yourself and earn money, no matter if, I mean, the system is not working almost in every African country, but we are not sacking Africans. We are not sacking other African citizens in Ghana. Let me use Ghana for, I mean, there are a lot of even bad issues or bad things going on that we normally tag Nigerians, which may not, which are not true. But we are not, I mean, going on this demonstration saying that they should leave our country among others. And like I said, So when this thing resurfaced, we had a lot of people, we had other countries trying to let them remember they should go back to their history, get to know who Africans are, these same people that they are trying to start, who they really are. They were there for them, they fought for them. I mean, if without the intervention and without the contribution and support of these African countries, I'm sure by now they should have been in slavery. By now they should have been experiencing what they were going through. But here lies the case, we all came together. It was Africa against apartheid. So I think maybe they've forgotten their history, and they have to go back to it. And the government, I mean, in Ghana, we saw the Minister of Foreign Affairs engaged. Even before that, we saw the ambassador in South Africa engage the man who was is it Mr. Emmanuel Asamoah. We saw him engaging with they were engaging, trying to get to know whether he's okay, everything is okay, whether there was some issues in terms of whether he was hurt or he was traumatized. But God being so good, I think he's okay now. But here lies that now Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa has come in, trying to involve the South African government to let them set up to try and do something about this issue. Now, must they sit down, wait for the let me use the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Ghana here, come out to say, hey, this is going on in your country. So must they sit down and wait for people to come after them before they try and do something about it?
Absolutely not. And I think that action from the states, the South African government in the first place, shows the nature of the South Africans in that particular sense, and that they are not proactive but reactive. So systems don't work. You don't do anything to curb it. People now take advantage of the system, and then you want to attack them. Your citizens are not doing things right.
Yeah.
You don't really say anything until there's some external pressure before you now try to react. I think that's the problem with them, and that's where people would lose trust in these governments, and it can affect a lot of sectors in that space. So people no longer want to come and invest externally because we can't be assured of security in the first place.
Yeah.
We could be killed the next day.
Yeah.
Our workers could go off. Nothing can be done about it. And security is very, very minimal. And that's a very big problem. So I think these states should be very, very proactive and care about these things.
Talking about proactive, so when they were cautioned, all they did was to acknowledge and also condemn the attacks and nothing else. I mean, there's not been any, okay, we are going to persecute the people, we are going to arrest them, we are going to ensure that whoever does this, and it's still ongoing. I mean, even just this morning, I saw another video of a Nigerian being, prevented from going to a shop with her daughter, all because they are trying to inspect their national identity, that's a passport. And these are the people, do they even have the right to stop me? Let's say I'm there, to stop me in the middle of the road to ask for my legal documents, that where is your passport, before they can give me? Are they the immigration? Are they and these are not just people ordinary. Like ordinary people. Citizens. I learned okay, I don't really want to use that word, but I mean, these are ordinary citizens who are trying to stop people asking for their documents. And I like the fact that Mr. Asamoah did not give the original document to them. He gave a scanned copy of it, and it was certified. And like you said, probably maybe they lack the knowledge, they lack the capacity, because why would you even ask someone giving you a certified copy, why is it certified? Because it's not the original document. Of course, if you make a photocopy of your document, you have to certify that this is the original copy of a copy of the original document. So I was surprised to see him asking why is the document certified. It means that the person came in illegally, which is totally wrong. Now, what we are calling for is for the government to give strict consequences, strict rules, that whoever does that is going to be prosecuted. Whoever attacks an individual, a foreigner for that sake, will be arrested and face the legal consequences. Don't you agree with me?
I do agree.
You agree with me, right? And also, like you made mention, this is not the first time. It has happened before in terms of xenophobia. It has happened before, and it is happening again. We don't know when it is going to happen. Hence, the government needs to sit up, look at their system. And it's frustration. There's no employment. People they are home, they are trying to work maybe, and it's not working. economic issue is there, poverty, corruption, among other, and it's not just in South Africa.
Yeah.
Almost most of the, actually most of us, we see South Africa as a bit developed, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure that is why a lot of people try to go there instead of going to the Western countries. At least if they are to choose Africa, they will choose South Africa.
Absolutely.
So I don't know why they are there waiting for us to leave before they also try to say that, okay, now I'm capable of working. And now let's look at African unity as a whole. Most of the African governments, we are all fighting for Pan-Africanism. We are all fighting for African unity, starting from even Kwame Nkrumah. And now this is the same Africans trying to, sack us from their country, forgetting that when we talk about African union, when we talk about African unity, it has free mobility, free movement. It have one citizen from an African moving from one country to the other without any hindrance, without any constraints. Maybe they are forgetting about that. What do you think is the impact of this in terms of Africans?
But if they are not structures that constantly remind us of the actions we have to take to ensure that we can actually have that African unity, and I think we're going to forget in the long run. That's how come a country like Rwanda that faced that genocide have so much of importance attached to that particular occurrence. So anyone within that particular country would not even make an attempt to reconstruct something like that come into play again, because they have something that constantly reminds them. They've seen the consequences and they've advised themselves not to have something like that occur again. So the conversation then has to be with actions that promote intentionality in achieving African unity in the long run.
Intentionality is there. And also, let's look at the role of the media. I mean, if not through the media, we may not have heard what is happening out there, unless maybe a family member calls their member to say that, hey, this is what is going on. So maybe tell the government to come and pick us from the country. We are not safe, but we are sitting here and we are seeing what is happening in South Africa. Now, a lot of people are also coming in with their insights, coming in with their recommendations, coming in with their suggestions and their comments, among others. So to me, I think the media also helps in terms of letting the South Africans know that, hey, you're forgetting your history. Hey, this is what we really are as Africans and not what you are doing. Hey, I think this is the best way we can go. What do you think is the role of media in this, in terms of, trying to find solutions to stopping xenophobia, and also trying to, find solutions to South Africans?
All right. I think the media basically has the strongest voice to even achieve success in the long run. But there's a twist to this regarding the media, where the South Africans themselves would record and post shamelessly, telling you that this is what we want to happen. So I think then it has to go way into how they think, right, as a people, to the point where they realize that, or they believe that everything is within their own walls as South Africa. There is no extra or external factor that can help them to achieve any economic growth in the long run. They believe everything would work within their state. And so they want everyone out. They don't care what they put out there. They don't care about the impression it creates in the global market, the global space of the African continent. So I think the media has done really, really well with publicizing the kind of chaos that is going on there. But again, with the South Africans, I believe there has to be a lot of respect and dignity with the kind of things they share out there to protect the image of their country.
But now, before I take your words, let's say if you are given a platform to speak to the South Africans, what would you say? Now, before that, there is a comment from Ajwa, and she's saying that this issue between Ghana and South Africa is deeply concerning because no African should feel unsafe in another African country, and which is very, very true. If we are talking about Pan-Africanism, if we are talking about African unity, we coming together as one, I should feel very safe moving to your country, staying as long as I want. So far as I am coming in with a legal process, I am coming in with a legal means, I am coming in to also contribute to your economy and not just coming to steal from you. I think we should be safe moving, easily to other African countries. So I agree with you, Adjo, and thanks for your comment. Now, like I was saying, so what would be, if this is the platform for you to speak to South Africans, what would you say? What would be your advice to them? Like your brother, like your sister, like a father, like your father, like to your father, to your mother, what would be your advice to them?
All right, so it's going to be very simple. First off, Africa does not forget. You wouldn't want to be the reason why your children, yet unborn, would suffer hatred from other African brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if people are thriving at the expense of yourself, who is even most proximate to opportunities, resources, and the like, then it basically tells you one simple thing. It's probably your approach to these resources that doesn't really make you achieve the best out of it. So the solution is simple. Learn from your African brothers. They wouldn't be so selfish to share these ideas to make it better in your economy. And for the states, take much caution and protect your citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Give them enough capacity to build themselves beyond even staying in South Africa.
Yeah, of course, we do not forget. And so this is not the moment for hatred. This is the moment for us to go back to our memory, to know that Africa, we stand as one. I mean, during your time, the apartheid era, we stood with you. We were all Africans. A lot of people contributed one way or the other. Some gave money, some gave land, some gave passports, scholarship to your students. I mean, free movement for you. Some even picked your people to their country for you to be safe. And so this is not the moment for you to attack individuals at all. And know that you're not attacking one person, you are attacking Africans. And so stay safe, try and look within yourself, build your capacity, and learn from your brother, just as Nkunim made mention. Now we move to the second story, and this is also very, very interesting in the field of artificial intelligence. Now, Ghana is positioning itself as at the forefront of artificial intelligence development in Africa, following the launch of the National AI Strategy by President John Dramani Mahama. The plan outlines a 270 million USD investment to build critical infrastructure, including a national AI computing center, while strengthening governance, research, and skills development. Now, officials says the initiative is aimed at transforming Ghana into a digital-driven economy, but experts warn that balancing innovation with ethical safeguard and inclusivity will be key to its success. So, in Kunim, this is I think this is a very huge and great milestone. Congratulations to all Ghanaians here, because I remember when AI came in first, a lot of people were against it. And then I think in 2024, the African Union established the Continental AI Strategy and encouraged their member states to also, come up with their national AI strategy. So this is a strategy when we talk about adapting to artificial intelligence. And so kudos to us. And now it shows that we are 100% accepting artificial intelligence. What do you think?
Actually,
yeah,
100%.
We are 100%.
Already.
I mean, back then, I remember back in school, when you try to use AI to do your work, I mean, you get the lashes or you get the backlash from your lecturer saying that, hey, nobody should use artificial intelligence. So now, if a lecturer tries to stop a student from using, we can say that, please, we have an AI strategy established in Ghana that is backing the use of artificial intelligence. Now, let's look at the document itself. I like the fact that there's a budget, right? And the budget is in two ways. Most times when we have policies, when we have strategies, it looks very nice, it looks doable, it looks achievable, it looks very, very easy to follow. But when it comes to implementation, there lies the case. We'll give ourselves a duration to, implement the strategies, to go by the policy before the next we update them. And then when we are doing monitoring and evaluation, we know that no, we have not even done half of what we want to implement due to the lack or adequate implementation strategies. But I like the fact that this budget was in two ways: one focusing on infrastructure, one focusing on the system, and then about 20 million focusing on implementation. What's your take on this?
Well, I think it's such a good idea, right? First off, that everyone is made aware of what the AI strategy is. So during the launch, you have the first gentleman of the land come in to actually endorse something of this sort. I think it gives it a lot of importance and relevance to the Ghanaian society. Right. And I mean, we're yet to see what's yet to unfold, right? We don't really know whether it's going to be effective in the long run and all. But I really want to see them utilize every avenue possible, using the schools, especially even the 1 million coders program could be well initiated into this AI strategy to ensure that everyone is actually involved in it in the long run.
And you know, now the involvement or the incorporation of AI is almost in every sector. We have agriculture, we have health, we have even finance and education. Almost everything that we are doing, we try to incorporate artificial intelligence in it. And so if we are looking at having a strategy, I like the fact that it is not just about talking, it is not just about doing this and doing this, but also ensuring that each and everybody, in terms of infrastructure, we have the computer, we have the systems, we have the internet, we have almost everything that is going to help us achieve, able to, you know, implement the strategy. But let's look at the fact that when we come to the urban areas, this is going to be a bit doable. It is going to be something we will do because internet is very standard here. It is accessible. But when we go to the rural areas, and we are talking about equality, we are talking about equity, everybody should have access to this. Everybody should have access to every intervention that the government is bringing on board. But when we go to the rural one of the issue is internet. One of the issue is even the knowledge, the literacy in terms of using computer. Even phones, smartphones, it's very difficult for people in the rural areas to do that. What do you think the government can do to ensure there is equality, there is equity in terms of sharing the intervention for everybody to have access?
Right. So I think the best way to go about this is in relation to having a set apart plan, right? A structure, which should not just be in existence for a 1-year period or the 4-year term period for a government, but it is one that exists even beyond governments. So probably a 10-year plan, a 20-year plan towards infrastructure in the first place, because if you do not have buildings to accommodate these people, then that becomes a problem. So I think the very first thing that we can do is to ensure that we have these structures around. We don't just leave it to an MP setting up one 12-unit block, 5-unit block, and the like, but then there's a plan that already governs how these structures are going to be built, of which MPs can fit into these things in the first place. Once this is done, then the AI policy or strategy can fit into it in the first place.
Yeah, very true. So I'm told we have Dr. Cecilia Charles with us now, and I hope it is working very, very well. So hello, Dr. Charles. Welcome once again. Welcome back to Hello Africa Morning Show.
Thank you very much for welcoming me.
Okay.
And sorry for inconveniences of the network and the area now I'm located. I think we can get conversate well. Thank you.
Yes, it's understandable. We get that very well. So we were talking about your research that you presented during the Researchers Forum. You shared with us your experience. You shared with us some of the things that stood out. Now, we would want to know. I mean, I was very surprised when I read about your research and also some of the things, the findings you came across. You know, these health workers, they are the same people who, when there is an outbreak of infection, they advise us, they come out with some health measures, some protocols that we have to follow. But now your research is telling us, it's indicating that these health workers are also not going by the protocols that have been put to ensure that there is safety, to ensure that they are doing the right thing. Were you surprised with the findings that you came out with?
Thank you. Of course, the results are a bit surprising because we had expected that these frontline healthcare workers could be the ones who are directing people to follow the IPC practices. But we came to realize that there are a lot of factors that hinder them to adhere to the IPC guideline, including what I have been highlighting to the studies: training, lack of resources, workload, and so forth. So to get to create that, they may be knowing that it is important to do that, but because of the factor that hinders them to do not practice well, it's become that the compliance level becomes low. So now it's us, or it's an issue of the policymakers to look on the factors, what are the barriers, what are the facilitators, in order to enable these healthcare workers to adhere to the IPC guidelines and protocols, so as to reduce the hospital-acquired infections, but also to ensure the patient safety and the community to be safe from the infectious diseases.
Now, before we come to the policymakers and the government, one of your the reasons or the factors contributing to this, you made mention of high patient to staff ratios, which was quite, it was not clear to me, but I'm sure we have other people also who would want to understand how this is influencing the health workers from not following the protocols that have been put in place in terms of high patient to staff ratio. How is that preventing them from, following the protocols?
Yes, the patient staff, meaning the shortage of the staff is a barrier or is a problem that hinders the healthcare workers to adhere to the IPC practices. For example, you may find that the shift, working hours shift, you have one nurse and a lot of patients to care about. So it becomes actually not really in practice that after every patient, this healthcare worker to get the IPC standard in hand when delivering a care from one patient to another. So instead, they rush in order to make the patient turnover time short and to ease their work. They may be knowing, but because the number of the patient is high and the staff levels, the number of the staff is low, so it becomes impossible for this healthcare worker to accommodate all that is required for the IPC practices in order to to adhere to this guideline.
Yeah. And also you made mention that two things influence this behavior in terms of individual behavior and then the institutional or the system, which you have addressed the policymakers and the government taking action. But now let's come to the individual behavior. If you were given the platform, or if you were given the platform to, let's say, change some practical things to ensure that this issue is addressed, what are you going to propose to these health workers?
Okay. The first thing that I say is it's very important for the healthcare worker is the behavioral change. If every healthcare workers take the IPC at the core components of the health service delivery, mean that you practice it as your responsibility for the issue of caring that it's me who are affected, but also it's my children, it's my community, and all that. So the issue of the behavior, I think, is one of the integral parts. If you can have the strategy that focuses on the behavioral change, I think it may work based on the leveraging this IPC practice post the health facilities to these healthcare workers.
Okay. And also, you had the opportunity to meet other experts and the public and also the policymakers. Share with us some of the feedback you got during the Researchers Forum after your presentation. What were some of the feedback you got?
Okay. First, after engaging with different scholars, to me, it was the first experience, and to be distinctive, that it was a forum that showed me that we need now to shift, to leverage ourselves from the academic researches to implementation researches. People now need to translate the results from the publication to real-world experiences. So for the collaborators whom I met that day, I saw that the main interest is that they wanted to change, to make a shift now, translating the results to real-world experiences. And I got to share on how my data can be assessed easily using the Afrobarometer, parametric tools, and so forth. But also I got engaged with the publishers like those Francis Group, of which I was reading them to the articles where their papers being published. So to me, it was the very nice experience.
Very good to know about that. And so during our discussions, right, I was sharing with my colleague here that sometimes these protocols, these measures that are being proposed or given to us to follow, it's a bit it's challenging. I mean, I'm saying this in relation to the behavioral issues in terms of the health workers not following the protocols. Now, would you agree with us that this infection prevention protocols for frontline health workers to follow, do you think they are realistic? Because I have been dressed or in the PPE overall, and I experienced it actually with our condition. It was very hot. So do you think that this protocol, that aside, I know there are a lot of other protocols. Do you think these measures are realistic? It's something that is favorable to the health workers, that they can go by it? Or you think maybe there should be some modernization, there should be some, changes, something that it is favorable to the health workers to follow and also make it easy for them to be in it and then, attending to patients?
Yes, as I've said that, I say that the protocols first, they're not that difficult to follow once you have created a behavior of following them. Yeah. For example, it's not that you go by one. You may find that you practice four precautions at once while saving the patient. And some precautions, they actually depending on the situation, on the event, or how the patient comes, what you have to prepare yourself before attending that patient. Yeah. So I think the most important thing is building the inner behavior on looking the IPC's guideline, IPC's precautions as your responsibility. You have to do it, whether you like or not. Yeah. I think having that mentality, it's easy to follow.
Yeah, that is very true. Having that mentality, the mindset, changing it and ensuring that, and understanding that this IPC, it is your responsibility. It is something you have to follow. Now, beyond policy, what kind of support do you think the healthcare facilities also need to ensure that we are following the IPC?
From the observations that I've been obtaining from the research, I say that there are a lot of issues now to capacitate the health facility. For example, having the supplies of this IPC. The healthcare workers might be willing to do it, but because they lack resources, it becomes an impossible. But also, once there is a strict supervisory strategy that are in place, for example, we may be having these different teams in ward unit, for example, the IPC committee, the work enforcement team that are under IPCs. If they all make the follow-ups, they guide these healthy practitioners, they remind them every day on how to follow these practices. I think that might be a very good strategy to emphasize these healthcare workers to follow the guideline and the standard. But also as an institution, we also need to think of motivating the healthcare workers, encourage them whenever they perform well, but also giving the punitive assignments whenever they do it wrong. For example, in one of the facilities that I assessed, I found that they have a regular behavior of recognizing them, giving certificate that you have performed well IPC for the quarter, for the 3 months ago. So with that, it motivates other staff members to follow. Because as you do your work every day, at times you get tired, but once you are recognized, once you are motivated, it's easy now to make it as behavior and keep on practicing.
Right, thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Cecilia, for sharing, for coming with us and also engaging with us. Now, before we leave you to go, you've been given the platform to share your findings with the public. We would want to know what is the next step. Are you looking at, what the recommendations that were given? Are you ensuring that it's going to come to life? You are going to implement it? We want to know what is the next step after this.
Okay. After sharing my results with this platform, first, I encourage that this platform should be sustainable. Should be a lifelong, where we may have other researches, other topics that's focused on solving the public health challenges that, like as I did before. So with that, I think that it will be the opportunity now to accumulate a lot of the results that can be made to change the policy. And to me, after here, I need now to set an action plan to use the tools that have been instructed by the Afrobarometer, and listening to other researchers, their findings, and adapt the better models, how the perceptive into the global aspects.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Cecilia Charles. We thank you so much for engaging with us, and we wish you all the best in your next initiative.
Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Great. And that was Dr. Cecilia Charles, who is a research scientist in infectious diseases from Tanzania. She was part of the researchers who presented during the second edition of the Researchers Forum. And thanks to the Association of African Universities for giving these people the platform to engage with the public, let people know what they are also doing, contributing to health system in Africa. We have one comment, and after that we'll go for break. So we have one person saying one civilian system for Africa needs to go with one passport. It is good to tackle issues this way because time's passed. Okay, so I think his is also related to the civilian system in Africa, where we talked about One Health, you know, the environmental, the veterinary, the other fields coming together to work instead of working in isolation. So he is proposing a one passport system in a way. Thank you very much for the comment. We'll go for break. When we come back, we shall continue with the news review. Please stay tuned.
Africa is rising through knowledge, culture, innovation, and through our universities. This May 25th, African Union Day, we gather again. The Association of African Universities Television, AAUTV, invites you to the African Academic Heritage Fair, AAHF 2026, a space where scholarship meets policy, student voices shape continental dialogue, where Africa's brightest minds and boldest ideas come together to drive Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. And this year, we are spotlighting the theme that touches every home, every school, every clinic, every community, assuring sustainable water availability and safe sanitation systems to achieve the goals of Agenda 2063. Expect a high-level dialogue on water security, sanitation, climate resilience, and human capital. A youth forum, because climate action starts local and youth are leading the way. A research and innovation pitch showcase, where innovators present practical solutions for safe water and sanitation to mentors, funders, and investors. And cultural moment that celebrates Africa's heritage, our identity, our pride. Mark your calendars for Monday, May 25th, 2026 at 10 a.m. GMT. Join us in person at the AAU Secretariat, Accra, or virtually from anywhere in the world. Register now to celebrate African scholarship and own our future.
Thank you for staying with us. We are continuing with the news review, and I've been doing this with our guest, Mr. Nkumsah from the University of Ghana. And so, to the next story, we are looking at the Kenyan President William Ruto, who sparked widespread backlash after comments suggesting that Nigerian accented English is difficult to understand, while praising Kenyan English as among the best in the world. Speaking at a diaspora event in Italy, his remarks drew criticism from Nigerians and other Africans who accused him of undermining African unity and reinforcing colonial era language hierarchies. The comments have since triggered heated debate online across both countries. I'm smiling a lot because I don't know why a high official government, who I believe is also part of the people fighting for indigenous customs, indigenous traditional practices in terms of our languages, in terms of our culture, in terms of our food, will now be comparing English language, which we learned from school, which is not our mother tongue, will be comparing DS to other countries. I mean, this is common among citizens, regular people. Yeah. We used to, tease our Nigerians, saying that we don't say boss, we say boss, we don't say doctor, we say that. I mean, it's normal. Yeah. But why would somebody in this position will also come out and be comparing English, not even a local language, indigenous language, English language, something that currently we are advocating for, using our mother tongue, even to teach, to preach, to do almost most of our day-to-day activities. So why then would you now be praising, saying, okay, the Kenyan language is far better, much better than that of the Nigerian accented English?
Yeah. Myself, I think I'm wondering if it was stuff in relation to cultural stuff like maybe dancing, which you could actually compare and see which would suit you, even based on your own perspective and your own ideologies. But I think this is a big problem, especially because of the stage on which it was said.
Exactly.
Right? That gives the foreigners the chance to even laugh at us once more.
It makes them superior.
And I can imagine the pain of the Nigerians, because literally that's the only thing he mentioned about you over there, and it wasn't even in good light. Makes it look as if your educational system has a problem.
No.
Then that questions the integrity of your educational institution and all of that. No one would be incentivized to send their kids, as in foreigners, to Nigerian universities again. That means they're losing on the capital, the human resource, and the like.
When it comes to accents, I don't think we should look at even the educational system, because one of the main reasons why accent changes in terms of language, right, is our indigenous language. Some languages, right, they use R a lot, right? So if they are pronouncing words which does not even have R, and I don't want to mention some tribes, they end up, so it is not really about the educational system. It is indigenous, like the accents that we have in terms of our mother language, that is influencing the English language. There are some countries or some tribes or some regions, they don't have P in their language. Hence, if they are speaking English and they have P in it, they find it very difficult to even pronounce the word. H, they find it difficult to pronounce the word. It makes English language sound a bit funny, but that is how they can, communicate when they talk about English language. So you don't in no way, as a president of a country, compare English language to another country. No. It is a big, to me, I mean, it is a very big no to us. And also it hinders, or it have a great impact on, again, the Pan-Africanism, again, we fighting for using our language. Like you made mention, if we are to compare English language and say that mine is better than, I mean, when we talk about English, we don't even know which one is better, because we have American English and we have British English, and they have different accents. Okay, so if Kenyan English is better, which of them is he picking? Is it the British or the American English? Do you get what I'm saying? So it's a very big no to us. And I don't know how the Kenyans are also taking this. I mean, like you made mention that the Nigerians may be sad and they may be worried about this, but the Kenyans, I don't know whether they are jubilating about this or they are also seeing the negative side of the comments that he passed.
Actually,
I've not really listened. I've not really listened to a Kenyan speaking before, but I have Kenyan friends. I mean, okay, it's okay. The language is okay, but I mean, we should not compare English language that we learned in school. Rather, we should be proud telling people about our language. We should be proud telling people about our culture. We should be proud even giving speeches in our language. And then the foreigners will use translators. Then it will be translated to English in them, to them. So this is just a brief on the issue of language by the president of Kenya, and also the end of the news review. Do you have anything to say before we wrap up on this story?
I think I've liked these stories. I think first off, most of them actually are surrounding their ideas based on African unity. I think most of the viewers will be able to learn from the strategies we've spoken of in relation to being intentional, being able to remember the historical events and all of that, and also not forget who we are. Right, regardless of the stages, we are Africans and must protect our identity.
Of course, not forgetting who we are. The Agenda 2063 says the Africa we want. So we want to be one. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we shall dive into the lifestyle segment. Please stay with us.
Through AAUTV, the Association of African Universities invites you to the African Academic Heritage Fair, AAHF 2026, a dynamic Pan-African platform marking African Union Day. Under the theme, Sustainable Water Availability and Safe Sanitation, the role of higher education in achieving Agenda 2063. The AAHF 2026 will bring together university leaders, researchers, students, policymakers, and partners. What to expect? High-level policy dialogue on water security and climate-resilient youth forum, spotlighting student-led solutions, research and innovation pitching to funders and partners, cultural showcases celebrating African Day, happening on 25th May 2026, 10 a.m. GMT at the AAU Secretariat, Accra. For more information, visit the link on your screen or contact the emails on your screen. Be part of the movement connecting African knowledge to real-world impact.
Applications are now open for the 2026-2027 Ghana Education Trust Fund GETFund Postgraduate Foreign Scholarship. This initiative reflects GETFund's continued commitment to investing in human capital development by providing Ghanaian graduates with opportunities to pursue advanced studies in reputable institutions abroad. The scholarship scheme is designed to build capacity in critical sectors and equip beneficiaries with globally competitive knowledge and skills. Application deadline is 30th April 2026. For more information, visit the link on your screen.
Applications are now open for the 2026 UNFPA Youth Leaders YoLe Fellowship Program. UNFPA Ghana, in collaboration with the Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment, in partnership with the University of Ghana School of Continuing and Distance Education at the Center for Digital Youth Development and United Nations Volunteer Program, invite qualified young people in Ghana to apply for the 8th cohort of the Heads of State Awards Scheme-Winning Youth Leaders Fellowship Program. The fellowship is open to youth leaders serving with youth-led, youth-focused, youth-serving organizations, CSOs, NGOs, and public institutions. Application deadline is 14th May 2026. For more information, visit the link on your screen.
Explore a whole new world of exciting visuals with AAUTV. Get ready for a mix of interesting talk shows, interviews, discovery documentaries, and news on AAUTV. It's not just about watching TV, it's about experiencing something special. AAUTV reaches over 25 countries in Africa, bringing you a blend of knowledge and fun. Learn about different cultures as you enjoy the shows. If you have events or want to showcase your business, we've got you covered. Watch AAUTV free-to-air channel on satellite. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter, at AAUTV. Reach out on call or WhatsApp us at +233 26 629 6601 or +233 20 399 5210. AAUTV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
This program is proudly sponsored by Venom Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.
You're welcome back from the break, and now it is time for lifestyle. We are starting with so last week, Friday, 24th April 2026, we saw the Ghana's Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, celebrating his 60th birthday in a warm and joyful surprise celebration, which was held at the Jubilee House. He was surrounded by his family, colleagues, some senior government officials, and close friends, all dressed in white. Now, we also saw he came in with his wife, Mrs. Victoria Deborah, and their 2 children, and they walked in surprise to the sound of a choir as guests rose to welcome them. Now, this drew widespread praise from Ghanaians on social media with goodwill messages. You know, people were sharing their comments, their wishes, and goodwill messages for the celebration. And what actually stood out and what was surprising, making it more memorable, was what the president of Ghana, President John Dramani Mahama, the role he played in this celebration. Actually, he made sure that the Chief of Staff showed up for the surprise celebration. Nkunim, I mean, to have employees, for your boss to go all out to do this for you. I mean, most times when we are celebrating our birthdays, we would want to take the day off to celebrate with our close friends, to celebrate with our families. And so he gave an excuse not to come to the office. And knowing very well that they had planned for a surprise for him, I mean, the president tried or made everything possible. And the excuse he gave was very funny. I mean, it shows that all our governments, they really want business. They want Ghana to go far, because he used business as an excuse to invite the Chief of Staff to come to the Jubilee House, and he came to meet such a big surprise. And like I was saying, so for a boss to go all out for an employee to do this, it shows that there is such great bonding, there is this mutual respect, and there is this acknowledgement of his hard work to what the Chief of Staff is doing. You saw the video, right?
I did.
How did you, how, I mean, it's not something, but I mean, how did you feel?
I think it was amazing, because this is my first time seeing the president do something like this.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, who is this man, and why is he so important to him? I think it was such a great feat by the president to really welcome him. And President is smart, actually, very smart to use that bait to get him to work. That was amazing.
Yeah. And then talking about who Julius Deborah is, so he's one of Ghana's most experienced public administrators, now serving as the Chief of Staff under President John Dramani Mahama. He turned 60 on 24th April 2026, which is a milestone celebrated publicly at the seat of government. And so that is what Julius Deborah is. Now, so this was made publicly by social media. We saw a lot of celebration. We saw dancing. We saw the choir singing the happy birthday song, among others. And so this was done in the Jubilee House, right? Do you think for the president to, I mean, he could have done this in a restaurant, he could have done this in a private, place, but for him to bring his people, his friends, and all the people important to him to the Jubilee House, do you think it shows that there is this different different relationship between the two of them compared to other staff?
Oh, definitely. Because first of all, the position he holds, right, the chief of the presidential staffers, right. So whoever works under the presidency, this man has a role to play. Julius Debra does have a role to play. In the president's administration. And I think there's even a deeper meaning to this, that if the president is able to celebrate their boss like this, then the boss definitely would take it down and celebrate every single individual. So basically, service has paid off in this case.
Service has paid off. So of course, if you're working, you should put all out to do your best, because people are watching. Your boss is watching and can do a lot more for you. Talking about he being an important person, you saw the personalities that came. I saw great people, like the state, the government, people in the government, people in, you know, well-known public people came to join them in celebrating Julius Debra. So I think I saw what's his name? This presidential candidate who
Cheddar.
Yes, Cheddar. I saw Cheddar. I saw other governmental people. I saw, you know, big, even the chairman for Pentecost. We'll come to that story, who they had stepped foot on. But I mean, he came to, you know, support, to give his best wishes and blessings and to them. And so that also emphasizes on the fact that he's a very important person, someone that they really acknowledge, and he's very precious to them. And so that was what we saw, experienced last week, Friday, the celebration of Julius Debra, his 60th birthday. And as we are saying, if you are working, if you are put in a governmental position, it is your responsibility to do your best and giving your all and work hard, because your boss is looking at you and may do. It's not just about surprising you, but it's a fact that they are seeing what you are doing. It's a fact that they are acknowledging your hard work, and so you should do your best. And it goes to all governmental positions or governmental workers out there. And so still on the celebration, like I made mention, we saw the chairman of the Pentecostal church coming in, and already we had seen what was trending. So he publicly, Julius Debra publicly apologized on behalf of the CEO of the Ghana Free Zone Authority, Dr. Mary Owusi, who went to sit at the radio station, kind of sending a warning to the chairman of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Dr. Eric Nyameche, over a comment he made, I think related to the Galamsey. And so the CEO was saying this is due to the respect she has for him, she's going to let this slide, but he shouldn't do or give such a comment again, else she is going to come back for him. And that she's referring that the comment he made as a political comment. I listened to what the chairman said, and I don't know the politics about this. I mean, we are all fighting for stopping Galamsey. We are all fighting for the best thing to be done. We are all, whether it was NPP's era, whether it's NDC's era, a lot of people came out. And we saw priests, we saw the religious people, we saw Christians, we saw pastors, reverends coming out, even going on demonstration during NPP's era. So if the chairman would come and give you reasonable reasons, like facts, that this is one of the reasons why we are fighting against Galamsey, which is the truth. I mean, most of us, we do baptism in the water bodies, but how do you think we can go to these brownish water bodies, these contaminated water bodies, to baptize somebody? No. So now the option is for them to get a plastic pool and then, you know, dive the person in the water to baptize. So if he should come out with this logical reason, I don't see the politics behind it. And are you trying to prevent this religious, because they are religious, because they are people of God, the men of God, so they can't come out to pinpoint the bad things that are happening? I really don't see the political comment in this.
Yeah, same here. I kept on watching and searching if there was another video where he made another comment, because with what he said in that video, and I don't think he even tagged anyone. It was a very open statement.
Very open, and it's to the government.
Yes,
so
literally.
Even if you are going to make a comment, I think the best thing is, yes, she tried explaining that there's been intervention. Initially, the water bodies were so muddy to the extent that you can fetch a whole lot of mud in your hands, but now they are running. So at least you could acknowledge the reasons he gave. You could accept it and say, yes, we really accept what you are saying. We really understand the situation, and we are all coming together. I mean, this is our situation. So we are doing something. I mean, then times this and this is what it was, but now this is the progression. This is what the government is doing. So don't worry. Before we leave the government or before our tenure ends, this should be solved. I mean, it shows that you are for the people, and not to signal warnings and not to give warnings to religious people because they came out to, let people know the situation, which we all know. It's not something hidden. We all know about this. So I don't know if it is about arrogance. I don't know if it's about being too bossy. I don't know what really encouraged her to make such comment. And I like the fact that the Julius Deborah, I don't want us to shift from the main story. I like the fact that as a chief of staff, he used his birthday and the platform as the opportunity to publicly apologize to the chairman and also to the people of Ghana that, I mean, they've accepted the flaw. It was something that she was not supposed to do, and so they are sorry about that, and it's not going to happen again. And also the fact that the chairman also took this in a very good heart, and said he had forgiven and he even said that this is making the church more popular for people to know who the church is and what they are also doing. And so I like the stand that he took to not also say that, no, I'm not going to listen, we are going to come back and do this and this and this. But I mean, he forgave her, and we stand together as one, as people of Ghana, fighting together to
the best. He had the best reaction to this issue. I don't know what the problem is, because I see way too often it happens where we see Ghana really has a lot of respect for like the elderly, but then in some instances we see people just trigger a lot of disrespect and all. But I think this was something which was uncalled for, but in the long run, he had a good reaction to it.
He had a good reaction. And so this brings us to the end of today's discussions on Hello Africa Morning Show. We started with the top African news, and then we dive into the news review, and then ended with the lifestyle segment. And I've been doing this with our very own Mr. Nkumsah from the University of Ghana. My name is Isabella Tete Ahinakwa, and this episode was sponsored by Vena Purified Water and Biko Drinks. We hope to see you again and again and again next week. Have a good day.
This program is proudly sponsored by Vena Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.